Okay, now all these things are good. Let's say we've evaluated their breathing. We feel like their breathing fits into range, so we feel good. We've just put them on CPAP and we've evaluated this and we feel good about it. What's the next thing we want to evaluate? Well, we want to give them about 30 minutes and get that blood gas, right? Because ventilation is all about PCO2. And so what should that be? Ventilation is all about 35 to 45 with a pH of 7.35 to 7.45. Now just realize if you're weaning it'd be nice to be able to predict what their baseline CO2 is, because if you're weaning a COPD, or it would be foolish to expect that you're going to have a CO2 or a severe COPD, or anyway, whose normal CO2 is 55, it would be foolish to expect them to have a CO2 of 40, right? A clue to how much CO2 they generally have is found on the blood gas, and that would be the bicarb. If the bicarb is high, then you have to think, what drove the bicarb up? Was it a compensated respiratory acidosis? So that's where I look for the clue for that. But anyway, this is kind of what we do. So let's say our blood gas looks good. Okay. Patient's been doing okay for 30 minutes without much change. Their blood gas looks good. What next? Is there any other information we can use to document to make sure the patient is okay for... Yeah, and this is when we get into the vital capacity, the VC, and the... Now, do you want to call it NIF, NIP, or MIP? Is there any others? How about MIF? Yeah, all meaning the same thing. And fortunately, all with the same criteria. Now, what did they tell you? What does Egan say? I know what it says. I believe it says -20, that you should be able to pull at least a -20. In my clinical experience, I would prefer to see a patient do -30.
Yeah, it says -20
So,
to -30.
oh, so they do say -20 to -30. Okay. Any less than that, and the patient, what does that mean if it's too low? Let's say they only pull -10. Okay, but what is that? It's muscle strength. Yeah, and this is about muscle strength. Okay, what about vital capacity? Well, we have to have something to compare it to. So what's a normal male's vital capacity?
70 ml.
Huh?
70 milliliter.
Well, remember when you studied spirometry and you talked about volumes, and they said that you learned some volumes for a normal healthy individual, which was a tidal volume of 500, an inspiratory capacity of, I don't know, 3,100 or 3,600, a vital capacity of 4,800, a total lung capacity of 6 liters. So remember, a healthy individual has a vital capacity of 4,800, your normal size man, 70 kilo man. But we're only expecting them to get...
Higher than 10 to 12.
Okay, and this is where we don't all agree, but I think for the MBRC, they're going to say 10 to 15 mils per kilo. Yeah, so they're going to say, we want a vital capacity of greater than or equal to 10 to 15 milliliters per kilo. In my clinical experience, I would much prefer to see the patient have 15 milliliters per kilo. I don't really agree. 10 is not very much. But, this patient just had surgery. They're weak. That's probably okay. So 10 to 15 milliliters per kilo. So what does that mean? A 70 kilo man should have 700 to 1,100. Okay? So, I'd prefer to see a vital capacity of 1,000 on most people, most average size people. But some people will accept less. This is not going to be an exclusion. At what level would we exclude this patient? 500 ml. Because at 500 ml, their vital capacity is equal to a normal tidal volume. They have no reserves. What good is the vital capacity anyway? You don't need this for your tidal volume, because your tidal volume is only 5 mils per kilo. So why do I need the extra? What's the extra good for? What do you need that extra for? What do I need to do to keep cough? Cough is the lung's #1 defense mechanism against congestion. So a patient needs to cough effectively. In order to cough effectively, you need this. So that's where the reserves come in. Okay, so let's say I grab my Wright's respirometer, or I just use the ventilators. The ventilator has a device that allows you to measure the exhale volume, right? Could I just ask the patient to take a deep breath and then read what the gauge says on the ventilator of exhale volume? I can do that, yes, but you might want to turn off the pressure support when you do that. The pressure support and PEEP to get a more true. I don't know if I've seen a study where people measured with the PEEP and with the pressure support on, or a low pressure support that is, versus people who turned it off, and how accurate the values were. But I think you get a pretty good indication either way. As long as pressure support is below 10, say between 5 and 10, because a pressure support of below 5 and 10 is really just enough to generally overcome the resistance of the tubing, so the ET tube and the circuitry that they're breathing through. Okay, so patient gets let's give you a hypothetical. Patient gets a vital capacity of 1,200, and they have a NIF of -45. Blood gas was good. Their minute ventilation fit in range. Their RSBI was good. What do you want to do? Oh, good. Very good. I wasn't going to say that, but cuff leak, now what does that do for you? He's saying put the cuff down and see how much leaks through, so you know how much room there is around the cuff. So this is a predictor of what? Well, yeah, it tells you, it is a good indicator of how much edema there might be in the airway. So that's a good one, and I know that's a good recommendation, is to let the cuff down, see how much leak there is, so that you can judge how much edema there is in the airway. Okay, good. Another step, ready to extubate? Well, let's be sure to tell the doctor it's the doctor's call, unless we're using a ventilator protocol, which we do at our facility, and many others use it too, wherein the doctor's predetermined if they fit these criteria, you may extubate. And so then we'll just make sure that we've talked to the nurse about extubating. Okay, so that's an easy one right there. Did I forget anything? So you extubate the patient. Once the patient's been extubated, then of course we don't have to go through the steps of extubation, but put them on a level of oxygen that's required, and you might